Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be installing this Midland MXT575 into the Jeep Gladiator here. If you're new here, welcome to the channel, and don't forget to subscribe. One of the perks of living next to an airport is planes all the time. Loud planes all the time. Okay. Thought that would take longer. So I have an MXT275 in my Jeep Cherokee and an MXT500 in my TJ. Now I really like the power that the 500 puts out, but I also like how hidden and how compact we can make the 275. The great part is that the microphone has pretty much all of the controls that you need, as well as a speaker so you can tuck the radio up underneath. A while back, Midland announced that they were going to come out with the 575, which is the 50-watt version of the 275. And ever since then, I wanted one, but I didn't have a vehicle to put it in. Now that I got my Gladiator here, I went ahead and ordered the 575 so I could have 50-watt radio, nice, hidden, and tucked away. Anyway, let's go see what all comes in the box, as well as everything I ordered to make sure that I get the best install in my Gladiator here. So this here is pretty much everything that I ordered for my install. If you're interested in any of this, I'll go ahead and leave a list of links down in the description below. So right over here, this is pretty much everything that comes inside the box. We have our radio right here. Once again, it has 0 controls on the front of it because it's all in the microphone. Now on the radio, you do have your plug for your microphone, as well as this USB-C plug over here, which I probably will never use because this is going to be a hidden install. I do like how it has a removable mount. You can pull up on these tabs right here, and it will slide this whole mount off so you can hard mount the bracket and then slide the radio on into place. On the back of the radio here, we have our fused plug. There is a barrel fuse in here. We have our microphone here. This also came in the box. As you can see, this is where everything is. This is your display. This is where you change your settings, your channels, anything you want is all right here, as well as the power button is here as well, all included inside this nifty little device. Your power wire, you get your microphone mount. Now some of the smaller radios you can tie into the wiring for like your cigarette lighter or something else like that. This here draws a lot of power, and it's highly recommended that you run directly off of the battery or a larger power source like an 8-gauge wire that you ran somewhere else. You can tie into that as well. We have our instruction manual, which is extremely helpful because there are a lot of different settings on the radio, but once you get used to it, it's really easy to follow. Also in the box, we have our sticker, our little magnet base antenna, as well as an adhesive base which you can mount to something so that the magnet will stick to it instead. And it also comes with some screws and little bolts. That way you can mount everything hard and you don't have to worry about it ever coming off. Now in addition to that, I ordered a larger kit, which came with a new antenna bracket, which I'm not planning on using, but if you get it all as the kit, it made it a whole lot cheaper. The kit also included this 6 dB gain whip antenna, as well as this low profile antenna cable. Now I also ordered this extension cable. I ordered this so I can go ahead and mount my radio in one part of the Jeep, and then my microphone can just plug into this here in another area of the Jeep, and I can remove the microphone and pretend like there's nothing in there, and the inside will still look nice and clean like the factory. Now to mount my microphone when I have it in there, once again, I was looking for minimal. I don't want a lot of things hard mounted inside my Jeep and in the way. I went ahead and ordered some parts from Bullet Point Mounting Solutions. This here just replaces one of the bolts on the grab handle for the Jeep, and this is the microphone mount that mounts to it. That way when I pull my microphone out, I can just remove this, and all that I will have is a little ball, and when people ask me, I can say that's where I mount my GoPro as well. And then finally, this is going to be my antenna mount. This here is just a bracket. That way I can mount my antenna kind of tucked underneath the hood. nice tall antenna out of the way. It is very obvious when this is on the Jeep, but like I said, the whole objective is to make the inside look nice. I don't really care about how many things I have mounted on the outside because it's a Jeep and it's going to look awesome going down the road either way. But this bracket is from Topsy Products. Once again, I'll leave links down in the description below for everything needed for this install. So that is it for what's here and what I needed to install it. And now let's go ahead and hop on the Jeep. So really my biggest challenge with installing this radio is trying to decide where I want the head unit to mount. So I did watch some videos as well as read in some forums, and I did see where somebody installed it underneath the driver's side dash, and I really like that location. It's simple, and I can still leave this speaker on and be able to hear it. So I'll show you guys where that's at right now. So underneath the dash right in here is where it's mounted. So I'm going to pull this trim off. It's really simple. All we got to do is pull it. It's got clips. Just be careful not to break your clips. So right up on top here, on top of this module, there is plenty of room between the steering column and the top of this module. All you need to do is take your radio and it should be able to tuck up underneath the dash. And you should be able to get it right up there. And it should allow enough space between the steering column and the radio that you can have full adjustment of your steering column up and down. But before I mount it, I want to do most of my wiring that I can while it is out from underneath there. That way I can connect it, then tuck it, then mount it, and I don't have to worry about it later. So let's go ahead and move on to the antenna and the wiring I need to do underneath the dash for power. So for my power and my antenna cable, I'm going to be running the cables through the same place I ran my wire for my VOS switch panel right here. Right back down here, there is a plastic plug. You can reach it, knock it out from underneath the dash. I just popped that little plug out, went ahead and cut the right size holes for my VOS switch as well as my antenna wire while I had it out, and then went ahead and put it back in place. That's also where I'm going to run my power wire, because you want to run the power wire for the 575 to either the battery or a nice solid power source. This one here, you do not want to wire into your existing wiring on your Jeep. Now, I don't know how well you can see, but right underneath where my finger is on the firewall is that plastic piece. That's where I'm going to be poking my power wire and my antenna wire through. Now, it is ideal to run your power all the way to the battery, but my VOS switch here has like an 8-gauge wire running to it, so I'm just going to piggyback off the power for this. And the wiring does have an inline fuse, so I don't have to worry about making another fusible link in here. I'm just going to use the power that runs to this VOS switch. So a quick note on the antenna wire. I do get questions about being able to put this giant plug through a firewall or having to drill this big a hole in anything that you're wanting to run this wire through. Now, the thing that I want to make clear is it is not necessary to drill a hole this size in anything. This is actually 2 pieces. You can see where you can get a wrench on this piece as well as a wrench on this lower piece, and they will actually separate, so all you have to worry about is making a hole just slightly bigger than the actual size of your antenna wire. So, like I said, I went ahead and ran my power underneath here, and I'm going to run my hot wire right inside my VOS switch panel here on the incoming power for the panel itself. Now, for my ground, there is actually a ground lug right back here. Right here, that is not in use at all. This wire here is the ground for my VOS switch panel, and that's where I'm going to ground my black wire for my radio. So, for the Topsy mount, it is going to mount underneath one of the bolts on this fender here. Once again, links for everything I used in this video down in the description below. So how this is going to mount is I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these bolts in the fender right here and it is going to actually clamp it down. And they also provide a screw for those of us who have taller antennas. It'll give it a little bit more stability. And now we can go ahead and mount our antenna wire itself. And there it is. And now I just need to dress up my wires. So I apologize, I did get a little ahead. I got this mounted up here, but I did want to talk about how I did it. I've seen people use Velcro. What I did was I put a little piece of foam padding in between the radio and the box here, and then I just tightened it down nice and tight with a zip tie. It shouldn't go anywhere, and if it does, I'll fix it when the time comes. So I'm going to go ahead and get my antenna wire hooked up and my power wire hooked up. Make it all look nice and pretty. I'm not going to show you guys that because it's going to take forever. So next, I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing the microphone wire. So in an effort to keep everything kind of tucked away, this here is the extension I got for the microphone. Once again, everything for this video links are in the description down below. I watched a video. Some guy went ahead and mounted it right here. I think that that is a great location. It's nice and open behind it. Hopefully I don't run into any issues, but this is where he mounted it, and then he routed his wiring around. So I'm going to get a hole cut here and hope for the best. Now, let's just need to feed it down on through. Ah, come on. And then with that done, all we need to do is tuck this wire up underneath and run it all the way around over to there. Beautiful. Works great. And now I just need to adjust my settings to make my sound come out of the mic. All right, so everything is installed with the exception of where do I mount my microphone clip. I see where a lot of people will mount it right here. I think that that's a nice place to put it, but I don't like the idea of mounting something hard here and clipping it in. I don't like the idea of permanently sticking something to this, especially since this is kind of a hidden install and all you should be able to see is the antenna and where the microphone plugs in. And that is where bullet point mounting solutions comes into play. So everything with bullet point mounting is this ball right here. I have them for my phone holder. I have a GoPro holder here. I also have a GoPro holder right there that you can't see because you are hanging off of it. This one here just replaces the bolt right here in this handle. And they also have a microphone holder that'll mount to it. So all I have to do is mount this where that existing bolt is. And there we go, and we are good to go. They even give me an Allen wrench for install, and it is the same size Allen to remove the bolt. Didn't fall too far. All we got to do is thread that in and drop the Allen again. And now we also have a tablet holder if we want to mount a tablet, or if I want to bring my phone from up here down to here. And it's real simple. All I got to do is back that off, set it in place, and look at that. I have my mic holder. I also like how out of the way it is, even if I have a passenger sitting in the passenger seat. Now all that's left to do is test it. I'm not going to take you guys all the way out in the middle of the desert to test this thing. I just want to make sure that it works because I already know how well these things work. I just want to make sure I can currently send and receive.
Can I get a radio check? Wrangler calling Gladiator. Come in, Gladiator.
This is Gladiator. I hear you loud and clear. So I didn't really feel the need to do a full review on this radio. I already love Midland radios. I have their 275 in my Cherokee, as well as the MXT500 in my Wrangler. If you want to check out that video where I do a long-range test on it, you can check out this video right over here. Anyway, that's going to be it for this install. It's all done. I really like how clean it turned out, and I really like the idea of being able to disconnect my microphone, tuck it away, and you don't have anything in there at all. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. As always, don't forget to subscribe down there. You can check me out on Instagram at It's Project Venture, as well as the Tickety Talk at It's Project Venture. Thanks for watching.